But with James Franklin, that's what's going to hinder him. Is it?
He'll find the floor. Now, the floor will be pretty high, but he'll find it.
Yeah.
So, Ryan Day spoke after, I know I kind of said it facetiously about how the defense sucked because he gave up 16 points after not giving up more than 9 points in a game at all this season. But here's Ryan Day talking about doing what they needed to do.
The thing that was tricky was it's a good thing, but we were in plus territory a lot. It's hard to be explosive as you get into the plus 25 area because, as you know, the field gets pulled down, and then when we were a little bit towards midfield, they were playing it a little bit more coverage, and again that goes back to the unselfishness of our team and understanding what needs to get done. And there's a lot of plays that we're going to want back, but I thought there was a lot of good physical runs down there where we punched the ball in, and like you said, did what we had to do to win the game. That's the bottom line.
Methodical, Bob, right?
Yeah.
It was like we both said, never in doubt. Never in doubt.
That game was never a risk. Like, you never looked at that and thought they're going to lose that game. Like, they were controlling it. They moved the ball at some points. It was really hard for them to get in the end zone. They got down there. In Ohio State, like, okay, we're down here on the goal line. All right, let's just throw it up to JJ. Oh, there's a touchdown. Like, you want to play in man coverage, that's a touchdown.
Right.
So that's the reality of kind of where it was. Like, you felt like this team could always, not that Ryan's like holding them back, but there's an opportunity there if they really want to go pedal down that they could always go get it.
Yeah, I kind of felt that way too. And it's a thing where when teams get inside the red zone against Ohio State, it's not like write it down, they're getting points. You know what I mean? Because Ohio State 3
points.
They get maybe you get 3, but I'm saying like even so,
best case scenario.
Yes, even so though, it's like as you're watching the game, it's like Ohio State is, I don't want to say they're playing with their food a little bit, but they kind of were, I thought.
Well, playing with their food, like they were moving the football and scoring. Everybody wants to see them just score touchdowns on every play. Just throw it deep to Jeremiah. Go do this. Like, the game was never in doubt.
Right.
So, I mean, and by the way, Illinois is a good football team. Like that, they were a top 25 football team on the road.
Yeah.
Like, so the thought that, like, hey, playing with their food, like, it wasn't like they were having turnovers or being sloppy. They moved it. You want to maybe see some more touchdowns. I get it. Like, I'm there, but you also won the game 38-16. Like, it was 38-10.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you're up by 4 touchdowns late in the game. What are we talking about?
Sonny Siles talked about things that the defense has to work on before Wisconsin.
Really got to correct our mistakes. We had a lot of mistakes out there today. Just keep getting better. Just keep turning it up. I thought we left a little bit out there, but we got the ball, so that was great. 3 turnovers. That's good football, but we still thought we could have played a lot better.
BDTM, otherwise known as McChickens in the chat, said every team's going to go up tempo now against us and dink and dunk against Ohio State. And
here's the thing. Up tempo works great as long as you're moving the football.
Right.
The minute you don't get a first down, then you give it back to Ohio State.
You're going to get blown out.
And they just sit there with those 7-minute drives and just grind you down the field. Like, that's the problem. So, dink and dunk. And by the way, when you're up by that much, go ahead and do that.
Yeah.
If you're not going to win the game.
Right.
So, you might get some points here or there, and depending on where you got Ohio State, you win by, what was that, 18 points? No, I think they even covered the initial line. So you should be good, unless there was some in-game action you had. But good coaches win, great coaches cover, buddy. Remember that. James Franklin used to be a great coach, okay? But, like, dink and dunk, like, if it's a game that's tight, there's mechanisms you can do to stop that. Now, the problem is it maybe puts you at risk for some bigger plays and other stuff down the field. And it's like, well, why do that at this point? They can't beat us driving the ball that takes 4 or 5 minutes to win.
So last year I ripped Cignetti for going conservative against Ohio State when he knew he couldn't win. Did Bielema do the same thing?
I think a little bit. He realized it was going to be really hard to score in Ohio State. And they weren't going to really be able to stop him significantly. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if he went conservative in it, but here's the thing. With as much pressure as they were started to get on Altmaier, they got some good shots on him.
Oh, sure.
He threw a pick. They put the ball down. I think he probably didn't want to try to drop him back and say, okay, let's try to push the ball down the field. Like a ton. They took some shots.
Right.
They got some calls. Probably not as many as they would have liked, but I mean, that's what it was. So it just becomes like, what's the risk reward in this situation?
Go ahead, Bodie.
It's also probably not a bad call, too, you know?
Sure.
Not only talking about not getting Altmaier killed, but they already got a 63-7 loss on their resume.
Yeah.
This stuff matters at the end of the year. If they're going to be, let's say they win out, and I don't know if they're capable of that or not. I don't know their schedule off the top of my head, but let's just say they do. They're going to be right in the thick of it amongst many 10-2 and probably some 9-3 SEC teams and maybe even a couple 9-3 Big Ten teams, where you're going to be looking at their resume and really comparing it to some teams that it's like, well, you know,
do you want a second
played
blowout
Ohio exactly, and like that the Indiana loss was so bad. Like they got so ran off the field that at least like sort of semi hanging in there with Ohio State, and the final score doesn't look too bad. I mean, that certainly helped Indiana last year get in.
Illinois is off this week, then they travel to Washington, which could be it's an elimination game for them at that point, I would think, because I don't think 3 losses gets them in.
No
Host
chance.
Rutgers, host Maryland, at Wisconsin, host Northwestern.
Okay, so there's nobody on the schedule that they shouldn't definitely be able to beat. Not saying
they'll be favored in every game.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know about
Washington. Yeah.
At Washington. Washington's look good, and
They have. It depends on what they do this week against Michigan. If
Yeah.
they beat Michigan, is that who they have this week?
That's the big noon kickoff.
Yeah.
Yep.
If they have Michigan, then that
I think it's
might.
in Ann Arbor, if I'm not
it's
mistaken.
in Ann Arbor. I believe you're right on that one. Yeah, it's in Ann Arbor for the big noon kick on that one. But yes, so that right there, though, yes, that will be a very significant game. And by the way, Williams, their quarterback, has looked great outside of against Ohio State.
Because he's good.
Right. We'll probably the same thing for Altmaier, too. Altmaier, granted, against Indiana, he struggled. But I'm saying,
It's USC, this USC defense that looked good. They didn't look good against Illinois.
I think Saturday night was more of a Michigan's offense is just another season of, oh boy, they can't move the football very well. And maybe Underwood will be good in the long run, but right now they're
He's a true
still
freshman.
Yeah,
That's
I'm not killing them or writing them off by any stretch, but that offense has still got a lot to get figured out.
They do. They're 4-2 overall, 2-1 in the Big Ten. They've got the game against Washington. They're at Michigan State. Michigan then is hosts Purdue, at Northwestern, at Maryland, and then obviously game to end the season at home against Ohio State. So, if they can, that Washington gives me a big game for them. If they can get it, they've got all the advantages. The fact it's going to be a 9 a.m. Pacific time kick, right, for Washington out there. That's an advantage out there in of itself. So, we'll keep that in mind. Coming up next, lots going on in the NFL yesterday. We'll talk to you about the Browns, the Steelers, the Bengals, and maybe even the Ravens a little bit if we have time. Maybe not. That's next. Morning Juice.
James Laurinaitis here for my